Here are 7 of the most horrific Airbnb stories you've never heard of. You may think twice about using this vacation rental service ever again. Number 7. The decomposing body. While renting a house for the weekend in a French town, a group of friends discovered the decomposing corpse of a woman in the garden. According to a police report, the body was discovered at the bottom of the property that opened out into the woods. The 7-bedroom house was located in the town of Palaiseau, approximately 10 miles south of Paris, and had been rented on Airbnb by a group of friends that had planned on having a party over the weekend. The woman was reportedly discovered with her head against the ground, hunched in a dugout area, and her body was surrounded by wood stumps and covered with branches. She was dressed but was not wearing any shoes, and a ring with a large stone was found on her finger. Due to the advanced state of decomposition that the body was in, the police were unable to determine a time or cause of death. An initial analysis indicated that the victim was between 30 and 50 years old, and the police suspected that foul play was involved. The officers questioned the renters, and an Airbnb spokesman stated that the company would offer its support and assistance to the police, renters, and host. Number 6. The Baboon Break-In. During his stay in South Africa, Neil Cave returned to his Airbnb apartment in Simonstown to find several unwanted guests having a feast in the kitchen. Cave recorded the shocking moment when he discovered that a group of baboons had ransacked the luxury apartment, and the video became viral. It shows a large baboon on the floor eating a loaf of bread, another one on the table tucking into a bowl of salad, and a third, smaller primate running around in the background, probably searching for more food. In the video, as one of the baboons turns towards Cave, he mentions feeling like he was trapped between them. He ultimately had to call the police to clear the primates out of his apartment. When the officers arrived on the scene, they pepper sprayed the baboons and took them away. According to Cave, his surprise visitors left trash and feces, but amazingly only broke 1 cup. Those who viewed the video were divided in their interpretation of the events. One man claimed that Cave had the right to protect himself and his property from the trespassers, and argued that he should have grabbed a rifle and shot the monkeys. Others disagreed with shooting them and argued that the Chakma baboons were harmless and quite common in small towns. Number 5. The Sex Party. A couple renting their home through Airbnb were left with around $41,500 worth of damage after their guests had what the police called a drug-induced orgy. In August 2015, Mark and Star King rented out their property in Calgary, Canada, to 4 adults claiming they were in town for a wedding. However, the family then began getting calls from neighbors who were complaining about the noisy party that was happening at their house. They reportedly witnessed a party bus bringing around 100 people to the Airbnb rental. Within 3 days, the police received 3 noise complaints. They eventually shut the party down after receiving reports of a fight in front of the house. When Mark and Star rushed back to their home, they were greeted by around 15 to 20 people, whom they eventually managed to convince to leave. The couple had been unable to enter their house up until that moment, as an agreement with Airbnb stated that the guests were legal tenants under the Residential Tenancies Act. When they finally got in, they were shocked to see destroyed furniture, used condoms, broken glasses, underwear strewn across the floor, and stains of bodily fluids everywhere, including semen, urine, and vomit. The police were called, and while they were investigating, Mark King recorded the extent of the damage. At the time of the incident, Airbnb were working to reimburse the couple under their $1 million guarantee to cover the cost of repairs. Number 4. The Pedophile's Harry Potter Cupboard. A 23-year-old Airbnb host was revealed to be a convicted pedophile present on the sex offenders register. Thomas Watton, a former X Factor contestant, was advertising a Harry Potter-inspired cupboard under the stairs of his home in Salford, Manchester. Watton wrote his space was suitable for teenagers over 12, great for solo adventures, and inspired from the successful Harry Potter movies, where the main character lived in a cupboard under the stairs of his family's home. Watton gained many followers on social media after participating in the X Factor talent show in 2011. After growing more and more popular on the internet, he began inviting teenagers over to his house and proceeded to intimidate them into having sex with him. His main targets were boys aged between 12 and 15. They would chat online, and Watton would ask them to send nude pictures of themselves, which he then stored on his computer. Between July 2011 and March 2013, 8 boys became victims of his sexual offending. He would convince them to engage in sexual activity with him and then blackmail them not to tell anyone by threatening to release private sexual messages and photos. In 2013, Thomas Watton admitted to have committed 12 sexual offenses, including 4 accounts of sexual activity with a child, 6 of causing or inciting a child to engage in sexual activity, and 2 of possessing indecent photographs of a child. During the court case, it was revealed Watton owned 2 laptops and a mobile phone, which contained over 100 folders with boys' names and indecent photographs. He was jailed and spent 2.5 years in prison. After serving his sentence, Watton moved 115 miles away from his hometown to Salford, where he rented out the cupboard on Airbnb. After being exposed as a sex offender, he declared the Airbnb listing was supposed to be a joke between him and his housemates and claimed he would not be able to rent out to teenagers. As the renting site states, you must be 18 years or older in order to create an account and use the services. Number 3. Attempted murder. A 47-year-old Dutch Airbnb host was arrested after a video of him pushing one of his tenants down the stairs emerged on social media. South African woman Saiba Kumbai required hospitalization, suffering multiple internal and external injuries after the incident. She was staying in Amsterdam along with 3 colleagues for an art exhibition. They were supposed to check out of their rental earlier that day, but were an hour late, which made the landlord angry. When they returned from the exhibition in order to check out, they were allegedly greeted by the furious host, who asked them to leave immediately and started throwing their clothes down the stairs. Kumbai and her colleagues began gathering their things in order to check out and reportedly apologized profusely. However, the Airbnb landlord kept yelling at them to get out, becoming increasingly more aggressive. At that point, one of Kumbai's colleagues, famous South African photographer Zanel Muholi, started recording the incident with her camera phone and captured the moment when the man started shoving her before pushing her down the stairs. Muholi then posted the video on her Instagram account, where it has been viewed over 20,000 times. Kumbai shared the post, stating that she was a victim of racism. Interviewed by journalists and police officers, the woman said she suffered a concussion, bruises, swelling, and a black eye. As of July 2017, Kumbai stated an intention of taking legal action against the man. Number 2. The Airbnb brothels. In recent years, the police in the UK and several other European countries have warned homeowners that list their homes on Airbnb to be on their guard, as their properties might be turned into makeshift brothels by sex workers looking to sell their services. The landlords and neighbors generally have no idea that this is happening. A Gloucestershire police operation produced 4 arrests in June 2017, and the charges included human trafficking. The aim of the operation was to help the women that are victims of modern-day slavery or caught up in the sex trade, and to prosecute the people controlling them. The properties that are rented out are not always cheap and include apartments that cost up to £1,000 per week. According to one report, the police interviewed a Polish girl that made £100 a client and saw up to 10 clients every day. A police official stated, "This sort of thing is going on everywhere. There are certain places that they all seem to go and visit. The Romanians almost have a set tour route they follow around the UK. The police collect different pieces of information and visit the Airbnb locations not with the intention of criminalizing the workers, but with that of checking on their safety and finding out whether they are forced to be there." Using Airbnb properties as pop-up brothels is not a recent development. In 2012, 2 women returned home after a month-long vacation to find that the apartment they had rented out in Stockholm, Sweden, had been used by sex workers. They discovered a letter from the police who had raided the apartment and caught the sex workers in the act. One of the homeowners said that the woman they had rented the apartment to looked very high class with business suits. In their home, they also found a plastic bag with used condoms and pubic hairs. The homeowner stated that they would not pursue legal action, but that they were looking for compensation from Airbnb. Number 1. The Memorial Day weekend murder. In 2016, 33-year-old Kevin Heath was shot dead at an Airbnb estate during a Memorial Day weekend party that had reportedly got out of hand. The party took place at a $3.35 million property in Lynnfield, Massachusetts that rented for $1,400 a night. According to the homeowner, 49-year-old Alex Styler, he had rented his lavish 6-bedroom mansion to a small group of people that were planning on having a small college reunion and that were expecting around 20 guests. One of the neighbors told a media outlet that the party had started on Saturday around 11 a.m. and college-aged partygoers and bikini-clad girls were seen entering the mansion. Father of 2, Kevin Heath, was discovered by the police that were responding to reports of gunfire on Sunday at around 3 a.m. He was taken to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead. Styler was informed about the shooting by his real estate broker at around 7:30 on Sunday morning. Upon his return, he found that the house had been left in disarray. Plastic cups, utensils, and paper plates were strewn on the street of the house. Styler discovered a bullet hole in the kitchen and was unsure of whether the shooting had taken place inside or outside the mansion. The officers also told him that there had been anywhere from 60 to 100 people at the property on Saturday night. The initial investigation did not produce any arrests, and the police did not reveal what had led to the shooting. According to the homeowner, the renters did not know the victim or the shooter and had planned to hire professional cleaners to take care of the house after the party. Styler, who had the home built on site since 2003, had been renting out the property on weekends for family reunions and corporate retreats for many years and reportedly had had only positive experiences. He told a media outlet that he would keep renting the mansion in the future. Realizing the situation, observers on the boat above opened the cage's escape hatch to provide an escape route for the creature. Chan, on the other hand, dived down and slipped out of the bottom of the cage to escape. However, he discovered 2 other sharks swimming close by beneath him. Not wanting to become prey to the pair, he quickly swam back up. Fortunately, the trapped shark had just escaped the cage.